The Huracan. This is where most people's first real contact with Lamborghini happens. It sits at the entry point of the modern lineup, though calling anything with a V10 engine an entry-level car takes some getting used to. The Huracan produces around 610 horsepower in its standard form, and it comes in rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive versions, depending on how much drama you want from the back end. It replaced the Gallardo in 2014, and like its predecessor, it was designed to be the more accessible Lamborghini, the one dealers actually move in reasonable numbers. The chassis is aluminum and carbon fiber, the engine sits mid-mounted behind the driver, and the whole thing is built around a driving experience that feels sharp and mechanical in a way that modern supercars sometimes lose. It is the foundation of the brand's volume. The Huracan Sterrato. Lamborghini took the Huracan platform and did something almost no one expected. They sent it off-road. The Sterrato arrived in 2023 with raised suspension, underbody protection, all-terrain tires, and rally-style lights mounted to the front bumper. It still runs the same 5.2-liter V10 producing 610 horsepower, but the engineering priorities shifted entirely. The point wasn't track times, it was to prove that a supercar could be genuinely usable on gravel, dirt, and uneven terrain without becoming something soft or compromised. Lamborghini gave it proper off-road modes and tuned the all-wheel drive system for loose surfaces. The Sterrato is a limited production variant, and it represents a specific idea, that performance doesn't have to mean fragile. The Huracan STO. STO stands for Super Trofeo Omologata, which roughly translates to street legal race car. Lamborghini took the lessons from their one-make racing series and applied them directly to a road car. The bodywork is almost entirely carbon fiber, the rear wing is fixed and functional, and the aero balance was developed with the same tools used on actual competition vehicles. It loses the front axle motor, making it rear-wheel drive only, which Lamborghini did deliberately to sharpen the driving dynamic and reduce weight. The STO produces 640 horsepower, but the number matters less than the way it delivers it: immediate, mechanical, and unfiltered. It was designed for drivers who use track days the way other people use gym memberships. The Urus. Lamborghini's SUV arrived in 2018 and changed the commercial picture of the entire company almost overnight. It was not the brand's first attempt at a utility vehicle. The LM002 from the 1980s holds that position, but the Urus was the first one built for the modern market. It uses a twin-turbocharged 4.0-liter V8 producing 650 horsepower in its base form, and it sits on a shared platform with the Audi Q8, Porsche Cayenne, and Bentley Bentayga. That shared architecture drew criticism from purists, but it also gave Lamborghini reliability and production volume they couldn't have achieved alone. The Urus now accounts for more than half of all Lamborghinis sold globally. Whatever one thinks of it philosophically, it funds everything else. The Revuelto. This is the current flagship in terms of volume production, and it replaced the Aventador in 2023 after that car ran for over a decade. The Revuelto uses a new 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12 paired with 3 electric motors, one on the crankshaft and 2 at each front wheel. Combined output reaches 1,001 horsepower, and unlike many hybrid systems that are added for efficiency, this one exists purely to enhance performance. The front electric motors allow torque vectoring on the front axle with a level of precision a mechanical differential cannot match. The carbon fiber monocoque is entirely new, and the gearbox is a dual-clutch unit rather than the single clutch found in the Aventador. It marks the full transition of Lamborghini's flagship into electrified territory without abandoning the naturally aspirated engine the brand built its identity around. The Sian. Lamborghini's first electrified car wasn't the Revuelto, it was the Sian, which debuted in 2019 as a limited production hypercar hybrid. Only 63 were built, priced at over 3 million euros each, and every unit was sold before the car was publicly revealed. It used the Aventador's V12 combined with a 48-volt mild hybrid system powered by a supercapacitor rather than a conventional battery. That was the technical detail that set it apart. Supercapacitors charge and discharge faster than lithium-ion cells, making the system more responsive at the moment of acceleration. The Sian was partly a technology demonstrator and partly a statement of intent. It told the market that Lamborghini was moving toward electrification on its own terms, without waiting for someone else to define what that looked like for the brand. The Veneno, the Egoista, the Centenario, and the SC18 Alston. These are the one-offs and near one-offs, the cars Lamborghini builds when the brief is to create something with no commercial constraint attached. The Veneno was made in 3 road car examples. The Egoista was a single-seat concept that was never meant to be driven by anyone other than its creator. The Centenario celebrated 100 years since Ferruccio Lamborghini's birth, with 40 units split between coupe and roadster. The SC18 Alston was built in one example for a single private customer through Lamborghini's Bespoke division. These cars exist at the edge of what the factory can produce, and they serve a different function than any other vehicle in the range. They are not about driving demographics or market share. They exist to define what Lamborghini believes a car can be when the only limit is imagination and engineering capability.